just realised what the date is.
So, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. For those of you that have been before or not been before, watching on YouTube, etc. We are all on lockdown, just as many of you are. If you're at work, good for you. If you want to be at home, unlucky. If you are NHS and other, hats off to you. Thank you very much for everything you've done. We're going to crack on with some D&D because we're very bored and the only way we can talk to each other is over the wonderful internet. I've just discovered a smudge on my camera, so excuse my big thumb. Right. Oh yeah. Excuse the overlay, it was thrown together in about 3 minutes with a cup of tea. So, if this carries on, we'll improve it. If not, well, need a crap overlay for a bit. So, this lovely bunch, we've played a bit of D&D before, but the last game we played was a couple of weeks ago with our lovely friend Rob, who was dungeon mastering, and it was work related. For obvious reasons, many work related things have been put on hold. We still wanted to play D&D, so we decided to have a little social friendly sesh now, essentially. This is episode 1 of the possible long, lengthy campaign, Made Not Born. So we shall see how far they go with this. Might be 2 sessions long and they all die in a pit. Or we might get to level 20 and they've got epic stories to tell their grandkids. Who knows?
This is definitely a polarising 50-50.
Yep. So, the game is set in the world known as Colossus. Those of you that follow my heavyweight stuff know that we have a huge homebrew world that we are writing many things for. So, welcome to Colossus, people. Our lovely adventurers today, we have Rob, give us a wave, Rob. We have Hannah, give us a wave, Hannah. We have Steve, give us a wave, Steve. We have Jamie, give us a wave, Jamie.
Waves, waves, waves.
Goddamn cameraless people. So, we will get to introductions of characters shortly, but for now, I'm going to give you your little lovely brief. If you hold on a moment. So you are from many places around the world, as you have all been informed of, and built your lovely characters to fit in here and there. You have all made your way, for whatever reason, keep to yourself or you can share it at a later point, to the town of Krool, which is spelled K-R-O-O-L. It resides in a place called Heroes' Rome. Now, Heroes' Rome is a thousands of miles of unused land because way back when there was a massive war that involved many of the races against demons and fae. And you all know that's very common knowledge across all the races. Long time ago, massive kingdom, massive wars, and now nobody goes anywhere near it, and it's just thousands of miles, square miles of death, essentially. Lots and lots of people come to the town of Krool because they've heard stories of legends and myths and heroes, and they all want to be similar. Or they just come to the town of Krool because it's probably the best place you can go to earn gold, at least on this side of the world. Krool is situated on a massive river that runs from west to east across the continent, and the river is called the River Tal Hulla. Sat on this river, you come from Ravenholm in the west, into Heroes' Rome, and then on to Atoria, which is in the east. You are all in Krool at the moment. You've all made your way there because you are essentially pretty talented. You know that you're better than the local folk around you in your homes, cities, towns, tribes, clans, guild, whatever you've come from, and you want to test your wares in the big wide world. Heading to Krool, knowing fully that it is a town where all adventurers start their legends. You arrive, it is a thriving town. It's to look at when you first enter. There is one single actual building. All other buildings are essentially canvas and wood that were maybe a tent that was put up and has just been added to over time. So you've got this amalgamation of shanty type canvas tents buildings. It's turned into something that's now permanent, but originally you can see that it was just tents tipping up to this one massive manufactured building, and now has just become permanent structures. It is very town-esque. There is nothing that stands out other than it's just busy. It's so busy. Anywhere you travel from on the way down here, this is an incredibly busy town. Walking around the place, you can, in fact I'll give you a little image. You might not be able to see this, but the streamers will. Ta-da! There you go, there's a little picture of Krool. This image was taken from Google, but it is very close to what I had pictured. So, have a look see at that, and you can crack on. Now, moving back on, that's going to disappear now. So in Krool, you can see lots and lots of wannabes, is the best way of putting it. They are people that have put together studded leather armour, or they're carrying gnarled staffs, and they've got thick books on their hips. Loads of people are carrying religious symbols, some you recognise, some you don't. There are many races here, from elf, dwarf, orc, tiefling. Those are the elemental races. There's tall, like, not furbolgs. There's the odd creature that you don't really recognise, but they're wandering around as if they're part of the town. There's plenty of stores, multiple versions of blacksmiths and leatherworkers, alchemists, tailors, cookhouses. There's smaller inns and hotel, taverny type things, but they're again merchant tents that have been put together and mashed together. There's quite a few what come across as, say, minor magic stores, or at least claiming to be magic stores. They've all got swords and amulets and potions to sell. It's a very, very busy adventuring town. The building that was manufactured, and then everything seems to have come across this. Half the town is on the north side, on the north bank, and half the town is on the south bank. There's a large bridge on the eastern side of the town that allows you to cross over to the southern side. This manufactured building is a tavern that is known far and wide. Like, you've heard of this several times in your travels. Even just sat around your fires, you're very aware of this tavern. It is called the Tommy Wasp. Yep. When you enter Krool, you can see it, like its rooftops are far above these shanty canvas tent buildings, and it is a very solid looking building, very large. It's got a almost saloon-esque flavour to it, where the few steps up and the swinging doors. What are they called? I can't remember. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, and it's typical of any story you've heard about a tavern growing up. It's loud, there's music going on, laughing and drinking, workers that, you know, will offer their body for gold and coin. There's loads of entertainment going on. It's always over populated, so there's people out on the decking and stuff queuing. There doesn't seem to be much going on in the way of animosity. And then what you do notice as you're all pottering about is you start seeing that even among all these people that are covered in these I want to be a hero type mentality, you get the odd group of people that are, what are you doing, lad? You get the odd group of people that are they look a lot better equipped. They've got better armour, nicer robes. Their sword just doesn't have as many chinks on the blade. It's well looked after, stuff like this. And then you start seeing insignia on, like the same insignia on individuals, as though they've come as a group, mercenary units, stuff like this. So, in the town of Krool, there is you've come along, and on your way in, just by bumping into one another or following caravans into Krool, what you do notice is the caravans into Krool and everyone coming in, it's always heavily guarded, or at least by guards that have been hired from the town down the road, because coming into Heroes Rome as a country, you're essentially inviting the chance of violence at every breath. There are still elements of fiendish and devilish and fey-esque elements throughout Heroes Rome, and so every travelling entity is always heavily guarded. You've come in on a particular caravan yourselves that's done the rounds, and you bumped into it, whether you got a ship to a town and then jumped on, or you walked to the said town and jumped on, and you are on your way to Krool. During that little trip, you all been of the forthcoming adventuring types of, we want to earn and see what we're doing and just test our skills because we've got bigger plans and need to get better, or whatever mentality you wish to use for your adventuring charms. You come across a goblin who is offering to those that will listen around him, almost got flyers but hasn't, the idea of bounty hunting, treasure hunting extraordinaire type things. Your first night before you actually go into Krool, your last night before you get to Krool, sat around the fire. The goblin sales pitch is pretty cool, and you all agree for now that you'll go forwards and just see how this new limited company is gonna do. So we will start you all in the town of Krool, and we will start you in the famous tavern of the Tommy Wasp, and we will get right to it. So, jump into the Tommy Wasp. Scene change. Doo-doo. It is very loud and music and bouncy. There are a couple of bards in each corner. This tavern is about 80 foot square. It is a huge building. It is 3 floors high. There are rooms to rent that are always fully booked. Everything in here is pretty high standard. It's not a rich tavern like only those with money would come here. It's just very well looked after. No one causes any crap in the Tommy Wasp because it is the place. Like, adventurers look after it like it's their own. You're in there and you can see there is gambling going on, dice games, arm wrestling, small wooden bricks with numbers on them. There are people talking about getting hired for jobs to go to the northern Viconia and survive and help the orcs and the human barbarian tribes up there. There are people talking about killing a dragon in the Far East. There are people talking about setting up their own armour smith. It's just very full of ambitious people with big dreams and ideas, all talking about it. There is a job board. It is about 8 foot across, 6 feet high, and there is parchment pinned to it, and there's just a mass of people constantly turning around, going to that job board, pulling a piece of parchment off and coming along. There is a gnome, quite young, young lad. He's got scruffy blonde hair. He's not well dressed, but he's not dirtily clothed. He looks like he's well kept, and he's always walking. You can see him pottering through this crowd of people at the job board to pin more of these pieces of parchment up as fast as people are taking them off. The bar is the length, it's about 45 feet length. There's only one person behind it. It's a large old orc with grey skin, and you can see scars on his face. One tusk is broke. The scars on his face come across both eyes. His hair is grey with bits of black on the tips, so it's gone from salt and pepper to he's fully there. He's definitely an aged orc. He's heavy set, a bit of a belly on him. You can imagine in his heyday probably had less of a belly. Behind him on the wall there is a brutal looking halberd, and under it is a shield with a motif of a red dragon with its wings spread, and the dragon is rising from a lake of blood. This orc does not move from his spot behind the bar, but what he does do is when anyone orders a drink, he places the drink on the bar, and it just moves slowly, almost mage hand like, to whoever's ordered the drink, and he just works in the same spot behind the bar. Everyone else seems to be either a customer or the odd person that seems to be waiting tables, or at least cleaning up the mugs and stuff. There is a large mastiff. Well, I say large. This thing is a dinosaur. There is a brown mastiff that's got a very like bounce to its head, just pottering around as though it lives there. You were all sat at a table because you have heard the wonderful opportunity of your goblin friend, and you're about to have a drink and decide what your next step is. So, Roberto, if you could describe yourself to your lovely patriarch.
Okay, you see across the table, or could be stood up, I'm not sure. He's only little, standing about just over 3 foot high. A dark robed, dark green skinned goblin. Quite young for a goblin. You'd imagine the equivalent of kind of like early 20s. Has kind of a complete scrap patchwork of steel, brass, iron, cobbled together to form what can only be described as scale mail, but in the most junkyard special mishmash way possible. All under like a set of hooded black robes, a little bit too big for him. He's super cheery, has sort of spoken to you all about being employees of Rozag's magic monsters and treasure hunters extraordinaires, and without much of a choice, half agreed, half just been thrust job contracts into your hand that are pre-signed. You've found yourselves at the table with him, and currently got a mug of ale in a regular sized mug, which makes him look even smaller. Doesn't seem to be carrying any weapons or equipment on him, other than a large chunk of what used to be part of the door, with a crude rope handle that appears to be some sort of shield-like device. Again, very scrappy, put together.
What's his name?
Rozag. Rorzag.
So, Rozag, as you are sat there with your ale, you look across to a pointy-eared lady. Hannah, describe yourself.
She had piercing blue eyes, horribly piercing blue, feel like they can see through your soul. When I say she's probably around 5'11", probably 5'12". So she's tall compared to the rest of our race, where on the shorter side of she's clad in a really dark brown, almost black leather armor. 2 daggers attached to her hip, a bow slung across her shoulders, typical rogue-esque attire. You can see there's something about it that you don't quite trust, but you can't figure what that is yet, and it doesn't cause you any full-blown hindrance, but you know that there's something there that makes you a little uneasy.
If I'm sat next to the half elf, I'm going to put a big cushion under my chair so I get taller, so I'm not just like half the height.
Cool. So there you have.
Probably a good move.
There you have Rozag and Hannah. What's your name?
My name is Venver.
How are we spelling that?
That is spelled Venvyer.
Cool. So, Rozag, Venver, sat next to Venver is a shorter chap. And over to you, Steve. We can't hear you, Steve. We can't hear you.
You are muted, sir. You are still muted, sir.
Still very muted. No, still
No,
muted.
still muted, mate.
So during this brief interlude,
So whilst Steve sorts his mic out, Jamie, next to the shorter chap is a very large chap. Describe yourself, Jamie, and we'll come back to Steve.
Okay, so sat around the table is a Echo is a 6'4" mountain of stone, wood, and vines. A warforged gentleman is sat at the table, easily towering over quite a few of the patrons. Muscled in the way that warforged are, with stone being the primary material in their construction, with bits of wood that appear to be connecting each limb to one another. Vines appear to have grown around its person at some point. From its feet, you can see coils of vines with like leaves. It very much looks like the vines are still alive, ingrained into the wood of its being. It coils around primarily down his right arm and ends around his hand. There are also flecks of paint, or at least you hope it's paint, of bits of yellow clung to some of the stonework, and also what looks to be sort of the oxidized brown of what might be very, very old blood splattered over its person. Abraxas. Yes, Abraxis.
Hello.
Describe
Excellent.
yourself, Steve.
Yeah, so as you look across the table, there's a 3'2" with bright ginger hair, sort of been pulled up with kaolin into a spike, with a massive sort of Asterix style handlebar moustache, wearing a Royal Stuart great kilt held together with a otter brooch, and his face is covered in intricate black woad.
Very nice. So, you are all sat at the table. You are all with... what's your name, Steve?
Flabbergast McCormack.
seriously.
It's called Flabbergast because, you know, people are flabbergasted when he stops talking.
I was about to say, oh, look, we've all got 7-letter names. And then Steve happened. Went for 17.
Yep.
So, you are in the tavern. What do you do?
I think we should go look at the board.
You broke up then, mercifully.
I think we should go look at the board.
We're having a drink first?
I agree, drink. I'm going to need a lot of drink.
You're not going to give each in their ass having a drink.
We've already got one.
Sorry, what did he say?
Just get a drink, lass.
I said we're not going to give each in their ass having a drink.
I'm going to go get a whiskey.
My gnomish is a little rusty.
Say it slowly. I said we're not going to get rich sat on our asses having a drink.
No, but I'd rather just enjoy myself before we probably die.
I'll tell you what, for the grand opening of Rozog's Treasure Hunter Extraordinaires, first round's on me. And I'll hop off my cushion, off of my chair, a mixture of wind chimey clanging as various bits of metal and plate jangle across, and I disappear between two patrons and vanish up towards the bar area, disappearing into the sea.
Sorry, what did he just call us? Like, I'm pretty sure we did not agree on that name.
He's a goblin. You know what they're like. They're like, oh, we're doing this. You don't really get a choice.
Well,
He's
listen,
going to be
I'll
sorely disappointed.
squeeze my way through to the bar, and I imagine there's some sort of queue.
There is a queue, but as you approach, you notice that the queue seems to move quite rapidly. It's almost like people are letting you past, but everyone seems to be letting everyone past, and there's this weird, nice queue admin where people get served quite quickly and happily and on their way. You're not there for very long, despite there only being this one grey orc behind the counter.
How high up is the bar counter?
About 4.5 feet.
Excellent. I'll jump, pull myself up.
There are stools.
I'll climb up a stool.
So you are sat on a stool, you get to the front, doesn't take too long. Stood before you is a mighty grey orc. Definitely past middle-aged, definitely seen a few battles, or at least been stabbed in the face a fair amount of times. Thick forearms, heavy set shoulders. Just stares at you, comes forward. Morning, lad.
Greeting.
What can I do with you for?
As president of Rosag's Monsters and Treasure Hunters Extraordinaires, we are looking at hosting our first annual staff outing at your fine establishment.
I'm sure you are. And what do you want for your staff outing?
Four ales, 4 whiskies, and 4 random surprises.
4 random surprises.
You heard me, my good man.
So he goes about his
What is
business,
maybe?
puts the ale, mugs of ale in front of you, rest of your drinks, and then he puts out these 4 shot glasses, and he just puts this brown liquid in it from a hip flask that's sat on his sat on his hip. Is this staff outing your got a name? He ignores anything you said before.
We are Rosag's Monster and Treasure Hunters Extraordinaire, and we are the pinnacle of treasure hunters in these lands. And we are hosting our first annual staff meeting right here in the top.
He looks you up and down, and then he sort of peruses the rest of the people in the tavern drinking at the mention of, you know, the best of the best. He's like, oh, okay, that'll be a single gold for everything.
And I'll flip him a gold and a couple of silver as a tip.
The gold, he turns around, puts it in a pouch that is sat on a shelf. It's just a small, like, bookcase with a couple of shelves on it, with a single leather pouch on it, and he just throws the gold in there. Every coin that's passed over the bar as you were waiting and stuff, just he turns, goes straight in there. Anything else?
And I'll make about 6 trips back and forth to take it all back to the table.
Alright, fair enough. As you are doing that, you notice the large mastiff seems to be just following you around, and every now and then it'll bump into you, nearly knock you
How tall's
over.
the mastiff? Because this thing's going to be pretty...
To shoulder, about 3 feet.
It's as tall as me.
For you, it's a war horse, mate.
Honestly, this is just so cute, so tiny.
Wait until he gets into a fight.
I will bring one by one, or as much as my little goblin legs can carry me, the shitloads of booze I've just bought. Stack it all up on the table and chuck a ale, a whiskey, and a random brown fluid in front of each of the people, and then look questionably at the Warforged. Do you even drink?
It just gives you a look of seriously.
Cool.
With its cold emerald eyes.
I'll take the random brown liquid. I'll chuck the second whiskey over to the elf, and I'll throw the last ale over to Flabbergast. We'll divvy up your.
The Warforged shrugs.
So the
Seeming to be more at home, looking around, almost like a sentry.
More for us.
I look at all the drinks on the table. I look at this small creature and I go, I like you.
I immediately
let's
down the
go.
2 brown shots.
I smell the brown shot because I don't entirely trust it.
So smelling the brown shot, there's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but it is definitely strong in alcohol presence. There's a slight acrid smell as it hits the nostrils, but other than smelling like very strong alcohol, there's not. You could probably, strip paint with it maybe.
I neck the pair.
Cool. As you neck the pear, it is like drinking fire. It is there's hardly any flavour to it. It's just raw heat hits the back of your throat, your chest. It's like swallowing a hot coal. You find it hard. You're quite short of breath, and you do like a soundless cough because of the heat. As soon as it hits your gut, from chest to gut, you get this real nice, warm, honey flavour sort of just come back through on the repeat. It's actually quite nice.
That's good.
I'm going to get my brown shot and drop it into my ale, and then the whiskey into the other ale, and then I'm just going to down them both with depth charges.
Ooh.
Wow, the gnome with a kilt is in the house.
I neck my whiskey. I leave the shot just to one side, just in case.
I'll grab it
I'll
and drown
come
it.
back to it another time, as I see him just yank it away and neck it. I look a little bit disappointed, and I now don't like him as much.
Cool. So while you're all drinking, what else do you wish to do other than drink?
The Warforged would like to just sort of get up from the table and go and have a look at the jobs board, seeing if there's anything that they believe a group of 4 randomly cobbled together people could go and do.
That is an accurate.
That is corporate monster hunters extraordinaires, Abraxas.
So,
Cobbled together around here is you, my friend.
So Abraxas, you get up. How tall did you say you were?
He is 6'4",
So-
and just shy of 300 pounds.
That's nothing, mate. I'm like near 400. So you're quite lean, mate. You're quite lean. So as you're pottering over towards the job spot, you bump into a half elf with one side of their head shaved, and then it just flops over down to the left, and there is a tattoo of a tiger on their head. They are in full travelling garb, like browns and greens, wrapped clothes. You can't see anything about their person, but they do stand out ever so slightly, mainly for the fact that they bumped into you rather than just mingled in with the masses. Give me a perception check.
Seven.
Cool. So they bump into you and off they go. You go over to the jobs board. It is just riddled with small pins and pieces of parchment, ripped, torn, scrumpled up. Scrumpled? There you go. The first few that catch your eye, that there's words like bandits written on one and then some more text, wolves on another and text. You see one that says red and then dragon at different parts of the sentence. There's lots of hands just sort of reaching in over and under and around you as people are just pulling them off. That you notice quite quickly that there's a not rush for the job board, but it's a case of people just don't care, as in they're just going up, whatever they reach they pull, and they go back. And then you see this young gnome as well, who kind of nudges past you, muttering to himself as he's pinning more stuff up. People are not perusing over a few, they're just grabbing anything in front of them. You can peruse if you so wish, or you can just grab.
While he's perusing, I'm going to regale Flabbergast and Vemvire.
Venver.
Venvir?
Then there.
Venver? About the time I once killed a dragon.
Whilst that's going on, what do you do, Abraxas? Are you reaching randomly like the rest, or are you going to try and eyeball a few and pick?
I'm going to try and be a little bit more discerning and try to get ones that they believe will complement the available skill set, given that they're blagging about being more treasure hunters, looking for more like dungeon ruins delving or archaeology things or stuff like that.
I really thought you were going to be like anything that's remotely around dungeons and dragons. So, there we go. 2 seconds. So the first few, as you're looking, the things that refer to more treasure hunting. There is some sort of cultists of someone called Edu. They seem to be holed up not far from Krool into the woodlands, and they seem to just, the job on there just wants rid of them. It just says eradicate cultists of Edu, location, and then there's a small location written, and it says the Tower of Light. Could mean anything to you, never heard of it, and the reward for it is 50 gold. More treasure-based things. One of the jobs claims that they lost their backpack, alas, that was full of wonderful treasures dear to them that they would like returning. However, it was surrounded by fire beetles the last time they saw this backpack, and they need some people to get rid of the fire beetles so they can get the backpack. There is one that literally says kill Baruch the Red Dragon, 1,000 gold. It just says that. There are somewhere, there's quite a few to do with bandits and wolves or beasts that seem to be in an area that somebody wants that area clear. So, just as a thingy for you all, from Krool, as soon as you leave Krool, the best way of travel is people stay on the river, either on the river or alongside of it, because going any further into the landmass known as Heroes Rome it's almost the apocalyptic part of the world. It used to be a thriving kingdom, empire, various terminologies being used when it was originally ruled by mainly humans, but then got eradicated, like the nuke version of D&D hit it in demon and fae form. So anywhere past Krool that isn't the river, you're going into places that are not populated with towns and villages, etc. So wolves and bandits, it's one of those weird, well, we didn't see any bandits on the way in because no one would attack us, and why kill wolves? But the jobs are on there. There are many jobs.
Sorry,
that just, go on.
How much is the Fire Beetle quest offering?
The Fire Beetle quest is 75 gold, and plus a gold for every Fire Beetle gland you bring back. This is old school, kids. Old school D&D.
Collect 4 zebra hooves. It'll provide you 400. I'll grab the cultists and the fire beetle one. I think Abraxas is more than knowledgeable enough to know that a red dragon's a big no at this stage, or at least doesn't expect good to come out of it. So
You don't know that.
they'll grab those 2 and then like slowly make its way back.
You grab fire beetle and what? Sorry.
Fire beetles and the cultists of Edu.
I could level 20 for you.
Well, I see that. So, as you grab those 2 bits of paper, a gauntleted hand just brushes yours and grabs the red dragon one. And as it pulls back, it complements the rest of the plate armor on a Goliath woman with thick black dreadlocks tied into a single bunch behind her head. You can see the hilt of a greatsword out the back. I said a great sword. You can see the cross guard, so you know it's a sword and not a hammer. So on her back, she's in full plate armor. There's no decoration on the plate armor, but she does have on her, hanging on her symbol, a golden claw, like a reptilian claw, is her holy symbol on a chain. Her eyes are the colour of storms. She just looks at you, nods and fucks off with the, excuse my language at this time of day, and takes the red dragon slaying job.
Kind of watch her go for a bit, seeing whether or not she meets up with another group before I'll head back. I'll see what goes towards another group of similarly dressed or similarly equipped individuals.
Give me a perception check.
Tasty +1 to perception. Ooh, 19.
Cool, so yeah, just as you keep an eye on her, she's walking away, you notice that she does indeed go to a deliberate group of people that are almost waiting for her. They're all sat at a table about 20 feet to the left of where your table is, and they all seem to be in similar attire of metal armour, whether it be quarter plate, half plate, full plate. They've all got that we're here to stand and hit stuff mentality around them. They all have these golden reptilian clawed symbols on chains. Some have like rosary beads around their wrists and stuff, and instead of a cross, it's a little golden claw on their prayer beads and stuff like this.
I'll nudge Vemvir and Flabbergast. Who we could take?
Hey, what are you on about? You're just trying to separate.
The guys the Braxis is talking to over there. I reckon we could take them. They don't look that tough.
You don't need to start fight. You hate fight weird, not heavy.
Please, for the love of God, just don't. We are nowhere near that at all whatsoever. But that Goliath is tasty.
Yes.
Not gonna lie.
It's not the sort of mentality we need in the business. We need go-getters who look positive and we...
We'll go and get some treasure. We'll do that. Before we do that, let's not go get ourselves killed by fighting people we can't fuck. There's no point.
Kill everything if you stab it enough.
If anything, you can go over and compliment the regalia, say how you wish to aspire to be as great as them, like hype them up. You never know, they could be a good ally. Just please don't hit them with anything.
Yeah.
You can always show it, but it doesn't mean you have to be angry at us.
Just so you know, they're all Goliaths, and there's 7 of them.
Abraxas! Abraxas!
Guys, I will be back in a bit. Something's just come up. Carry on without me. Abraxas will just come back with things, hand them over, and we'll be elsewhere for a bit. Sorry about this.
No worries, mate. Take care, mate. I'll speak to you in a bit. So Abraxas turns back up, he sits back down, he gives you 2 pieces of parchment. One of them says on it, fire beetles, kill them, get gold, bring me the fire glands and my backpack. And the other one is to eradicate the cultists of Edu at the Tower of Light.
What do we go to the toilet?
Why do we...
You can do the fight with me.
The Beatles?
No toilet.
I still don't speak Gnomish.
We'll go to the toilet and then we'll do the fight with later.
I really wish I spoke Gnomish. I was hoping that getting drunker would help me understand more, but it doesn't.
The tower.
The tower first, then the beat.
The tower first, then the Beatles. Yeah, see, I knew it. I knew drinking more alcohol would help.
Benvir, you can learn a lot from this guy. Instead of just looking at one thing, 2 birds and 1 stone. None of this. We can't take him. We'll die. None of that.
It turns out nobody speaks Gnomish. Alright? Carry on.
Oh, speak Gnomish.
I will grab the 2 parchments, tuck them into a very bashed, very rough-looking leather satchel with the crudest cursive handwriting in the world across it. That just says...
really good description.
It just says important business documents sort of scrawled on it in Sharpie. Spelled wrong.
Wait, I'm an expert in this paper stuff. What do you do here, Damon?
Are we?
Shall we go?
Wow.
What time of day?
It is noon.
Do you want me to look after the paper? Or we can do
God,
that?
no.
It's
No.
in the business folder. We're good.
All right.
Anyone know? Anyone see this tower on the way in?
Nope.
Someone here, no, we were just going to ask him. Hang on, go.
I will grab the first vaguely competent-looking person who walks past. Someone who looks like they've got some decent kit, and I'll say, "What's it say on the parchment? Tower of what?"
Yep, Tower of Light.
And I'll
So,
grab them.
coming past you is a human chap, about in his 30s, attired in a casual, probably works one of the stalls sort of manner, just nice shirt and trews. He's just on his way out with a small brown package in his hand that he picked up from the bar.
You there, good sir.
Morning. Afternoon.
Hello. You work here?
No, I don't work here. I work for Gildano, the Gildano's Wares, just outside. You may have walked past it on the way in.
Yeah, we did. Do you know the area at all, good sir?
I know the town pretty well.
Heard of a Tower of Light? Lands around?
Tower of Light. Off the top of my head, there's a couple of old watchtowers north of the town. Adventuring types by any chance? He says this, obviously, like just.
I'll pull out what I class as a business card, which is in fact just a torn bit of parchment in, again, the worst handwriting you've ever seen. Hand it over.
Is it legible?
No. No, of course it's not.
Depends how good he's reading it.
He holds it up and he's like, yeah, and he stashes it away in a little pouch.
All your treasure hunting needs, just come find it.
So,
Do I see any of this going down?
yeah, it's right next to your table.
Oh, sweet. I jump up and be like, look, we're looking for the Tower of Light. Is there any chance that you can help us? We have this bounty.
That's what he's just said. Yes, there's a few watchtowers north of the town. One of them might be the Tower of Light. I've never been to one. There's 2 or 3 you can probably visit that are close.
Well, let's go to the first one. Never seen.
I have no idea what he just said.
No one does. It helps when you're drunk. Is there anyone else that knows the local area better and would be able to tell us which is which?
Yeah. There's loads of he just looks around in the bar, like full of adventurers of varying.
Is there anyone who looks like they're either academic, scholarly, or cartographer, or anything?
Oh god, yeah. There's plenty of deep in their books or discussing arcane matters that just go way over your head. No pun intended.
So I'm gonna wait for a pause in the music.
There is a pause.
I'm gonna climb on top of the table, and then I'm gonna go. Gentlemen, does anyone here know how to find the Tower of Light? We need to go to the Tower of Light. Anyone know where it is? Anyone?
There is a dwarf that just looks across to you and goes, "Hey, there, lad," and points towards the toilets.
Oh, the Tower of Light, not the toilet. Tower of Light. Tower of Light.
Oh, right. Sorry, man. Never heard of it. He keeps drinking his beer.
I will.
Not anyone here's headed to the Tower of Light. Come on. What are you much Go on.
Give me a persuasion check, Steve, or Mr. Flabbergast, whilst Rozag goes back to the bar. So while you're going back to the bar, what are you doing at the bar, Rozag?
I will wave over the bartender. The
He's
aged.
not left the middle. He stands at the middle.
I'll go to him
Is there?
and I'll beckon him down, like whisper to him.
There's no beckoning down. Like the bar's too wide for him to lean over and listen down to.
So, we need to find the Tower of Light for a pretty covert important. Don't suppose you know which direction we should be heading?
Cultish Savido.
Yeah.
Day and a half, northwest. Try and keep as straight a line as you can. There'll be 2 towers that you see. One will be made of a dark stone that you probably haven't seen around here. The other one will be made of a darker stone that you probably haven't seen. Head to the darker stone one. Do not enter the first tower, as he literally looks you up and down. You are not ready.
And what's in that first tower?
You don't need to know because you won't be entering it, will you?
No, but better safe than sorry.
Well,
Please don't tell him. Please don't tell him.
if you
Because he
enter
will
it,
want to fight it.
you will find out. I'm strongly advising you don't.
Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
You're not there. Be quiet at your table.
See,
I thought I
now-
told him over, sorry.
Colour me curious, but now you've got me interested. What's so special about this first dark but not darker stone tower?
It's not special, it's just dangerous. There are things in there that I'm not incredibly confident that you could handle right now.
You don't know us.
I run a
Yeah.
bar that is filled with adventurers, from those fresh out of the womb to those that are on their way out of life. I have seen your sort several thousand times. No, I don't know you, but I do know you.
You have heard of us.
Yes, something extraordinaire, treasury, adventurers, yeah?
There we go. And I'll hand him another business card and saunter off.
He takes the business card, scrumples it up, and throws it over his shoulder. And you see a small pile of scrumpled up parchment that may or may not be other business cards from other adventuring extraordinaires that have walked into his tavern in the past.
Right. Ladies, gentlemen, stone constructs, northwest.
Before you leave, what was your persuasion check, Flabbergast?
How about a 17?
Cool. So while Rozag's at the bar, you do your little shout out, and the same dwarf nudges that pointed out the toilets to you. Nudges their friend. She comes over, female dwarf, real mucky blonde hair. It's all scraggly around, like hangs really around her face. It's not a beard, but she's enough hair that comes down her jawline that you can't see her jawline. Thick eyebrows, comes over. She's like giant forehead. She's got a real Neanderthal look about her. She just sort of musters over. Tower of Light. You want to head northwest? Ignore the first tower. Hit the second tower. Done.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And she picks up the tankards that are on the table and essentially just lets the last dregs of drops just fall out and then walks back to her dwarven friend and she sits down.
Unless anyone else got any plans, should we see if we can grab ourselves a horse and cart, transport?
How are you going to pay for that?
Good point.
How much is a horse and cart?
Probably them say more than we got. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Spent the last of the company
nothing,
funds on the
so I-
bar.
We're really
I-
lucky. Good dad.
I look at Warzag and I go, I understood nothing what he said. How much is a horse and cart?
Probably more than we can afford.
Horses and carts to buy. So if you were to buy a horse, you're looking at three numbers. If you are renting them, they're in a good, depending on how long you want to rent them, you're talking tens of gold.
Yes, we're walking.
And that's
Let's
just for the horse.
see
not even
how
the cart.
much it's actually going to be to rent one from the local stables. Because I don't know about you guys, but you have greatly shorter legs than I. I don't mind the walk. You guys, on the other hand, are going to take a little bit longer.
Whoa! No need to bring race into this.
Just
It's
because
more
my
your height.
Corvette
Say again.
said, just because I got traffic, I can do the thing to Giga.
Man raises a good point. You and your tall people think you're better.
Let's just go and see if we can rent a horse and cart, okay? I'm trying to make this easier for all of us.
Lead the way.
Let us go and find somewhere to rent a horse and cart.
So, on your way out, you all leave. Abraxas stands and just follows. You leave the tavern. Immediately leaving the tavern to your right is a huge stables. Massive. The only other stables in the town, there are two smaller ones on the north bank. The tavern is on the south bank. But on the northern bank there are two very small stables that would hold maybe 2 or 3 horses each. This one holds about 30. As you look across, there are various amounts of, there's about, say, 10 staff, young and old, that just seem to be like mucking out, moving hay, moving the horses from stables, like just brushing them, just general day-to-day stable horse care.
Fantastic. I'm going to walk up to someone that looks a little bit more in charge, or some. Actually, no, screw it. I go up to the closest person to me and I go, I'd like to rent a horse and cart for a few days. How much would it cost?
So the closest person to you working at the cart is a young lad. He is, hang on 2 seconds, I've lost him. I've lost the child. There we go. So there's a young lad. He is about 10 or 11 looking. Very, very fresh-faced cherub. Still got his cherub look about him. His hair's dead scruffy and brown. He's human. Excuse me. He's human, and he seems to be very into his moving the hay around. And he turns around and he sees you and he's, oh, hello, hello.
Hi there. I was wondering if you could help us. We're looking for a horse and cart to rent for a few days.
Oh, where are you going?
We're going on an adventure. Going to the Tower of Light.
The Tower of Light? Ooh. How many horses?
Enough for just one horse and a cart. That's all we're going to need.
How big's the cart? Have you got any fat people?
I wouldn't say fat per se. We have some that are rather large in stature, but not fat. Okay? So
He's
we
big.
just need
He's big.
medium-sized cart. That's all.
He's big. Whoa, he's big. He's clearly looking at Abraxas. It doesn't help that Abraxas...
Thanks for that clarity. I didn't think he was looking at the gnome or the goblin.
It doesn't help that Abraxas is stood next to a gnome and a goblin. Is he a giant?
No, he isn't. I don't think he's a giant, no, but he is really tall, isn't he?
Why's he got a metal face?
Tell you what, can you find us someone else so we can hire that horse and cart, please?
I can hire the horse and the cart.
Fantastic. Can you hire it?
Let me swear to the horse and cart.
He just stares at the gnome. Whoa. He speaks funny.
Wait, how much more for the car? Come on. Give me the day. Everything to do. Good to see.
So yeah, a horse and cart, and he just ignores the funny talking no. How long do you need it for?
Fantastic. I turn it to Warsack and I say, how long is it going to take us to get there and back?
2-3 days?
Could we hire it for 4 days?
Yeah, if you want. That's more than 2 or 3. I don't mind.
Just why are you going for 2 or 3 days? In like a day and a half. And that's on foot. You're going to horse and cart.
2 days? What's the price?
It's about a cart and a wagon and some horses and some food. It's 15 gold a day.
How much you got, guys and girls?
Abraxas checks. He has nothing, and he looks quite surprised that he has nothing.
Keep your pockets covered in these places, friend.
Very much so. I have 80 pieces of gold.
Sorry, you said it's 15 days. That's everything new. Come on. Go here. Can I have days? Big business on that.
I have 7 silver, 16 copper, a pile of fluff, and a butt.
I am going to hire the horse and cart for 3 days.
Cool. That's 15. That's 45 gold, please.
It's food for cash.
Absolutely no problem. I hand him over the 45 gold, and we go and pick our horse and cart.
Where you be? Where you going to be? I just need to get them ready for you. Where do you want me to bring them? I can bring them anywhere you want. You just tell me where you are and I'll bring over the horse and cart.
We can hang around here for a few minutes. How long is it going to take?
Ooh, about half an hour.
That can wait half hour.
Yeah, we can make that. Actually, do you know what? I think I might pop to a provision store that I saw on the way in. Do you guys want to come with, or do you want to stay and wait for the horse and cart?
Nope.
Wait.
No, what? Do you want to stay here, or do you want to come with me?
Nope.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get the horses.
I'll start looking at horses and wandering around the stables.
What are
I
you?
assume that Rozarg is gonna stay here.
Cool. So young lad goes to sort the horses out. Rosa goes around window shopping. What are you doing, Flabbergast? Are you going with Venvar, or are you staying Venvar, or are you staying here?
I am gonna go for a bit. See if I can find them worth buying.
Are you going separate to Venvar, or are you going with her?
Separate.
Cool. So
Cool, 'cause I can't translate what he's gonna say.
All back here in 30 minutes. Don't be late. Any of
Abraxas stays with Rozag. So we'll deal with Venvar first. Venvar, what are you looking for in the town?
I am going to look for general provisions like arrows, health potions if there's any knocking around, that sort of thing. Actually, I want to go to the shop that we spoke to the worker in the bar. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't.
The shop he mentioned.
Yes, I want to go there, please.
Okay, so it doesn't take you too long to find the shop he was on about. It is called Minor Magic, and it's got the name Gildano written under it. So the wooden sign says Minor Magic on it, and it's written dead nice and really nicely painted. And then it's as if someone, as an afterthought, has written Gildano across the sign. Again, all these stores, bar the tavern, are canvas and wood and makeshift. It's like being on an allotment across the town. But it looks alright. And you pull back the thin canvas that's been hanging there God knows how long. You enter in, and there is small wooden tables with lots of little trinkets on them, rings and little amulets, tiaras, little bracelets and stuff like this, just scattered on these tables. And there's these little mannequin hand type things that have got all these rings on them and stuff. And then you see a half elf behind the counter. His hair is jet black, and it's very nicely cut and tied behind his hair, into a ponytail behind. But it's done in a very like OCDS sort of way. It looks perfect the way they brush their hair back over. Their eyebrows are perfect. They're very well, like, back straight, chest out. They're looking very proud of where they stand. The robes Gildano is wearing are a burnt orange. It's very bright colours. Like a lot of people that you walk past just coming out of the tavern are very grungy and ready to, get out on the road type thing. Gildano is very not that, and just stood there very prim and proper. And he's got his back to you as he's stacking some like a bookshelf behind a small makeshift counter.
Good afternoon. I was looking to see if you had any health potions in stock.
Yeah, as he turns around, there's a small smile comes across his face. Well, hello, dear. I'm Gildano of Minor Magic, and he does a exaggerated bow, and he holds his hand out as if for you to take and kiss.
Daddy just said a meal. Daddy just said a meal.
I look at his hand and I give it a nice firm shake.
He looks at you and smiles. Well, maybe one day. So, magic potions you're asking for, are you?
Indeed so. Just some general health potions. Nothing overly fancy, just general health. Just to give us a little boost just in case we get into a fight.
Well, I'm not an alchemist, but I do have this. And he just reaches down to the behind the makeshift counter and brings forth, and it is a spider motifed like wiring goes around this glass jar, and it's not a jar, it's a bottle, a small bottle, about the size of a healing potion, and you've got these like there's a spider body on the bottom of it, and then the legs go over the glass. Does that make sense? So you can see the glass, and then you've got the spider, and the spider itself has got this metallic work into it, and it has got this pale red liquid in it, and a little cork just on top. And he says, but I do have this.
Could you elaborate on what this is?
It is an ever-filling potion of healing. And you may drink it, and the next morning it will have filled itself back up.
That sounds a little too good to be true. Where did you acquire this potion?
It was sold to me from a travelling bunch of paladins.
Seems like an interesting thing that someone would choose to sell. It seems almost priceless.
You are in Krool, my dear. It is full of priceless things.
And what's the price on this potion?
It is a mere 1,000 gold pieces.
I may have to sit on that and think about it more. I don't know if it's quite worth that. I redact that because I literally just said it was priceless, so nah, screw that. I never said that.
Well, that's not how it works. That's the, as you
This is not the point!
as you say, I redact that, he looks at you. Oh, redact, okay.
In other matters, do you have arrows for sale?
I'm not a fletcher or a huntsman, but there are many stalls around that you can acquire arrows or bows and such. I can.
Is there any that you would personally recommend?
There is Tantan. He is a lovely human chap. Works just before the bridge, before you go over to the north bank.
And how far is that?
From here, maybe 15 minutes walk. We are in a large town.
No problem. Thank you very much. You will be seeing me again in the future. Some of the wares that you seem to have around are incredibly interesting.
Ah, thank you very much. Have a good day. And he spins and his burnt orange robe sort of just flutters. And he carries on
No
about his
problem.
business.
Right, I'm gonna head back to the stable because I don't want to be late because I'm never gonna hear the end of it.
Kushti, Mr. Flabbergast, are you there?
No.
Mr. Flabbergast has left the call. You there, Steve?
I am, yes. I don't quite know what happened there. Sorry about that. Hello.
Your turn. Where are you going?
So I am going to walk off, try and find like in alchemical ingredients or alchemist shop, something like that.
Cool.
No.
You walk all the way down to the bridge. It takes you about 15 minutes. And then you cross the bridge and you can see on the north bank immediately on the other side of the bridge. Hang on 2 seconds. Immediately across on the other side of the bridge, you see a triangular tent. It's very large, almost, you know, the Emperor Bell tents that you get. And just outside there's lots of potted plants of either all green or colourful leaves on them. And they just seem to all have these little price tags on them. And then the flaps of the tent are open. And just as you cross the bridge, you get that smell of being in a what's the word? Not a greenhouse, but you can smell the different aromas of herbal in the air.
I'm going to have a look, see if there's any particular plants or anything there that I don't currently have in my herbalist supplies.
There are probably 1 or 2 that you don't have, but you've had a look at them and there's no difference to what you've got. So some people, it's just preference of herb in some of the stuff. So there's nothing that jumps out to you. There are several, as you are looking at the plants on the outside, you can see and hear a female gnome just pottering about. She's got a large hat on her head that's like a bit of a wizard hat, and it just sort of flops right down. And she's pottering around. She's got an apron on, and she's got these little gloves on, and she's just everything in there is her height. There's nothing above.
Fantastic.
And she's just moving little glass jars about with different coloured liquids in them, and then there's a little area to the left. You can see this through the tent flaps being open, which is clearly her alchemist lab. And there's all the little, what do you call the smashy thing?
Pestle and mortar.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. The smashy thing. Yeah, there's a couple of them. So very obviously an alchemist shop. She turned around and said, "Oh, hello, dear."
Hey, dear. We get any potions? We need healing.
We do indeed have healing potions. I've not heard one of your type for a long time.
Oh, it's better. Come for it away with.
You have indeed. Still got the old twanger here.
That's right.
So, how potent of a healing potion do you want? My name's Norma, by the way.
Sorry, what is that?
The name's Norma.
No, my pleasure to meet you, Norma. I'm Flabbergast.
Pleased to meet you, Flabbergast. Of Clan...
McCormack.
Ah, McCormack. I remember the old Cormacs. Spent many a time along the river with the Cormacs. Anyway, so what potency of potion do you wish?
Oh, you can probably debate it.
Ooh, just the mild ones. New to this, are we?
Oh, yes.
So you are aware they're very expensive. But I've not seen a Cormac for years. I'll give you a little cheeky discount.
Oh, lovely.
So they're normally between 45 and 50 gold pieces for the lesser ones. But for you, I'll do it for. Give me a persuasion check.
Oh no. 6.
Ain't charisma your thing?
Yeah, it is. But rolling a 1 didn't help.
So for you, 45, 30. I'll do them for 40.
Oh, that's lovely. Right. Oh, you might pop back in a little bit then.
No worries, no worries. Goodbye.
No worries. If you ever need anything, let me know. I've got some herbs and stuff, so I'll happily make things for you.
Oh, thank you. If you find any licorice root, I'll have plenty of that off you.
Oh, you keep my eye out for you.
Take care.
You too, Norma. Bye. And then I'm going to wander back.
Cool. It's been about 30 minutes.
Can I, while this is going on, have made subtle attempts to try and write Rorschach's Monster Hunters Extraordinaire on the side of Abraxas?
You can give me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage.
Yellow
15.
My first dice roll, and it's for a player.
Somewhere that he wouldn't be able to see, like over his shoulder or something, like on the back of his calf or something. Something I could reach.
I was about to say, like, so like on his thigh or something. Across it. No, Hannah, stop.
So, as you pull out your quill and ink stealthily, you approach the 6'4" Warforged stealthily in the middle of the day, stealthily, and as soon as the feather touches him, he just turns and looks at you and puts one hand on the hilt of a weapon. Says nothing.
Maybe.
And then he says, they return, and you can see Venvire coming down the road, and behind her in the distance, probably take about 5 minutes to get to you, you see Flabbergast. Venvire, you are back with the party.
Come on then, shopping trip's over. Things to
That girl
do.
wasn't going to be late though.
Horse and cart arrived to shop.
They have, as Venvire tips up, the young lad, as promised, is leading a cart with a horse around from the far side of the stables. The horse is a very lovely horse. It is blue in colour, as in the grey-white, not Smurf. And he pulls up to you, and this wagon it's decently made. It's not rickety or anything like that. You get the feeling that the amount of wealth coming into Krool, again, same as the bar, they look after stuff because it's going to get used a lot because of the adventuring types that come through here.
Anyone got any bits and pieces they need to sort?
It's really good.
Should be.
Okay, who's driving?
I will.
Cool. And I'll little help there, and I'll ask Abraxas to pick me up and chuck me in the back of the car.
He does so very willingly.
Does he not have to roll a strength check?
He does not.
Before I climb into the front of the car, I throw a piece of silver to the boy that got us our horse and cart.
He catches it quite deftly and with a big smile on his face puts it in a different little pouch just behind his hip, almost like a tip pouch. So, with Venvire driving the wagon, Flabbergast is back. You see Abraxas just launch Rozag into the back of the cart and then hop into it himself. I will assume Flabbergast jumps in.
Yeah, I'm going to climb up next to Venvar and ride
Shotgun.
Firebolt.
Ride Firebolt, nice. So Venvar and Flabbergast will take the drive, and Rozag and Abraxas will sit in the back. So, you head out. It's easy to drive. It's not a complicated task for yourselves. You lead the horse and cart back down the way you came, passing the shops that you'd seen. You go over the bridge to North Bank, and you then pass a lot more shop-esque. What you notice on South Bank is there's rows of merchant shops, but there's also areas that seem to be deliberately built for people to stay in. B&Bs, as it were. B&Bs and D&D. On the North Bank, it seems to be more market-esque. There's more of the merchant atmosphere going on the North Bank. And there are two main roads that lead out. One directly north, and then there's one that goes all the way through North Bank from west to east. So three main roads, but it's two, you know what I mean. So, which road which way are you going? Are you going to go west and then up, or are you going to go up and then west?
I'm going to go whichever way that Venvar moves the cart, because she's got it.
Wow, thanks for that.
I turn to Rozag and ask him which way we need to go, because he was the one that actually got the directions on.
Yeah, Rozag, which way are you going?
I will. Is there any visible roads or any paths or anything that looks more travel?
Yeah, there's the main road going out north, and the other one that goes from west to east right through the North Bank.
Let's go north. Good feeling about north.
Good lad, you should always have a good feeling about north. So, Venvar, you lead the wagon north. It doesn't take you too long to leave the town of Krool. Within, say, 15 minutes, the noise of Krool and its busyness is now but a mild ambience in the background, and the path leading out. At the end of that 15 minutes, you now realise that the road is gone from being a worn track to you're now heading into the wilderness, but it's a bit more bumpy on the wheels and stuff. So you know it is a day and a half. Stop shouting.
Okay.
And you're just going to keep heading north.
Down.
So,
yeah, awesome.
You head north, you keep going, you don't veer off just yet. The trees become thicker and thicker around here. Then there'd be this random patch of no trees, as if the land itself is dead. Not necro-decayed, just nothing grows there anymore, like dry, like barren land. And then there'll be more thick trees, and then other patches of, again, dead barren land, which essentially just fits the stories that you've heard about it being, the place it all went down. You travel, so you left at about 12:30. You travel into the evening time, so you get to like 5-6 o'clock now. You've been travelling for hours, you're into the woodlands, into the forestry. You wind the cart nicely through these patches of no trees and then back through. There are places where it becomes quite tight and that you're having to get out, take the horse off the cart, lead the horse round, move the cart. It's a bit of teamwork, and you manage to get through. Abraxas can move any heavy stuff that's in the way.
Can I spot any wildlife, any other groups of adventurers, or anything, any other signs of life or activity?
Are you actively getting off to make tracking attempts, or are you just keeping an eye out? Cool, give me a perception check.
Nat 20!
Skadoosh! That means the viewers have to donate £1,000 to charity.
That's it. Perception 22.
Is the charity Feed Steve?
Only if I'm at your house as well.
and it involves entirely gravy-based food.
Oh yeah. So on a 22.
£1,000 of steak bakes.
I'm involved. So on your 22, you do notice that the wildlife around here is less abundant as probably what you would expect in a forest. You obviously come from a place where you're used to wildlife being in and around, where you grow up, where you play, where you hunt, where you hang out socially. There's always wildlife. Being in the woodlands and the forest, there is wildlife there, but you can't hear much of it. You don't really see squirrels running around everywhere, but there is an element of wildlife about. As for presence of other people, adventurers and such, there are, you're not actively tracking, but there are signs that, obviously broken, not twigs, but larger branches that have been broken to move. There are clearly tracks of other carts in front of you. You don't know how old, could have been years or minutes. Doesn't shock you that there would have been other adventurers coming this way, especially from the town you've just come from. So yeah.
Cool.
Abraxas suggests a camp as it's coming close to sunset, and you are now a good 7 hours into the woodland of Heroes Run.
I imagine we could use the wagon as kind of a makeshift static caravan almost.
You can indeed.
We get some material.
I think you're onto something there, Flabbergast.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try and make it into a bit of a caravan.
So I'll look up and notice that the canvas is way too tall, and I'll look longingly at Abraxas and Venvir to do pretty much all of the manual labour.
Wow.
I was planning on doing it anyway, since I know that the people that I'm with are useless.
I get out the bagpipes and play them a lovely song to cheer them.
So whilst Abraxas and Venvar,
Briefly contemplate Eldritch blasting bagpipes.
whilst counterspell, whilst Venvar and Abraxas put together the makeshift camp, Flabbergast, if you could give me a performance check. You are muted, mate.
I got a natural 20, so that'll be 28.
28.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
So,
+4 with proficiency.
Yeah.
so as Abraxas and Venvar are doing the manual labour, as it were, Steve, are you still on loud?
Yeah.
Cool. I can hear myself through you, that's all. So yeah, so as Venvar and Abraxas are doing the manual labour and they're pulling around the canvas and sorting the wagon out and tying the horse off and stuff, you see Flabbergast pull round to the front his bagpipes that he's had on his back all this time, and as his lips go to it, you see Rozag there's a flicker of arcane magic at his fingertips, and what comes out is not what you expect. If anything, the first thing Rozag notices is that Abraxas and Venvar stop doing what they're doing. They just have to stop, and they turn to see where this unbelievably beautiful bagpipe harmony rings into the air, and it is just so nice to listen to. Even if you're not into it, you can't help but go, this is some talent. This is, I mean, if there was a Factor of X show, he'd probably win this. You know what I mean? This is some good bagpiping. And about 30 seconds pass, and then Abraxas and Venvar go back to work, and they just sort of, their heads are, without wanting to, just bobbing along to the tune that's coming out. There's a bit that Flabbergast hits that you can, in the song that he's playing, there's a bit of a dip in the emotion of it, and you just see Venvar and Abraxas through his warforged metal face take a breath and then carry on doing what they're doing. Rozag he's angry at himself that he's enjoying it. when you just what you do notice, Flabbergast, and I'll give you this for free, is Rozag toe tapping. He's loving it. He's absolutely loving it. He's taking all of his willpower to not just get up on the wagon and start rocking out some beats. You know what I mean? So yeah. So about an hour passes, and you now have a wonderful makeshift camp. Do you have a fire going?
Yeah, we do.
So you've got a nice little campfire, you've got music playing, and you've managed to sort out your camp for the night. It's now 8 PM, and the...
Can I see any small rodents or birds, like squirrels, rabbits, that sort?
You see birds every now and then fly over, and
Can't hear you there, DM.
as you see birds flying over, every now and then. Wait, flying over now and then with it being about 8 PM and the sun is slowly setting and that it's getting a bit of a dim light upon you, you start hearing the obviously nighttime thingies, but you don't see any land-based rodent. And Eldritch Blast, give me an attack roll, please.
That one.
You kill the gnome. So you, as you see the silhouette of the flying creature above you just come over the tree line. You lot, as you're just sat around the fire preparing your beds for the evening, you just see Rozag summon forth this cackling energy into the palm of his hand, reach out in a bit of a punch, and shoot forth arcane energy into the sky. You sort of, on reflex, follow the trace of the shot. You see the trace of the shot, you assume he's aiming at the bird that is now about 30 feet to the left, and it just keeps going up into the sky, almost like he's shot a flare. Like you can't fathom why he's just shot into the air. There's no target in front of him, there's nothing anywhere near where he shot the Eldritch Blast. It just seems a bit weird.
As we're all sat around the campfire, I just stop and look at him, and I just shake my head and just carry on sipping a drink by the fire.
It's one of those things. If you build up too much energy, it can overwhelm you. So it's just to vent out, to get some.
All right. Yeah. Didn't look like you missed or anything.
100%. That's what it was.
You.
Okay.
Cool. So while that's going on, you settle down for the evening.
Disappointingly pull some sort of
dry ration.
disappointing ration, yeah.
You pull out some dried apricot and a bit of beef jerky, and off you go. Who or how, or do you wish to do watches through the night, or...
Does Abraxas need to sleep less? I think it's 4 hours, I believe.
I shall double check that.
Thank you, Scott. I think we've lost a Flabbergast.
Yeah, Steve's camera's gone. I don't know if there's anything else. 2 seconds, and we will check the Warforged.
I'm still here. Just turn the camera off for a moment, but I am still here.
Warforged. Sentries rest. They need, when you take a long rest, you must spend at least 6 hours inactive. So essentially, the same as you. The good thing about Warforged is whereas you, when you are asleep, are classed as unconscious, he is not. Make sense?
I can take first watch.
So we will have Hannah on first watch.
I will take first watch.
Hannah's on first watch. Oh, Venbar's on first watch. Do you want to do first watch with her?
No, I'll go to sleep.
Thank God.
So what watch are you doing? Are you doing it in 2 hour stints, or how are you doing it?
Something like that.
Cool.
2 hours each, as long as we all get full rest, I think.
Cool. So who's next?
I'll take second then.
I'll do.
Flabbergast for third.
And I'm going to assume that Braxis is going to go.
He is indeed. He is indeed. 2 seconds. I have a lovely wife on my shoulder.
So, while we're all sat around the campfire, shall we all learn about each other a little bit more? We just kind of drank at the first initial meeting, so...
Don't strictly
Well,
believe in
no.
socializing with colleagues.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to be spending quite a bit of time together, and I've got to feel like I actually have to have a redeeming quality about you. So please, talk about who you are.
Did I tell you about that time I once killed a dragon?
Yep. Yes, you did.
That's pretty redeeming, don't you think?
Part of it is really.
Sorry, go ahead,
I
Flabbergast.
missed that one.
I said apart from the fact it was really little.
A little bit slower.
Apart from the fact it was really a lizard.
Nope, unless lizards fly and breathe fire.
Well, you don't know that. How well travelled are you?
As well travelled as any.
Anyway, so I don't think more interesting than you once, maybe, probably not, slayed a dragon.
That's a 24 in a deception check on slaying a dragon.
If somebody wants to insight them, you can. If you don't roll an insight, then you do believe him. Or at
I'm
least...
gonna roll an insight.
Cool. Okay. I can't hear Hannah.
No, Hannah, you muted.
I forgot about push to talk for a sec. I rolled a 20, non-natural, but unfortunately I do believe him.
So, as you hear, as he
Boom.
regales the story of killing a dragon that breathes fire and flying in the air, I mean, you still hold true to the fact that you're a little bit like, it's a dragon, but there's something very confident about the way Roz like saying it that, you know, comes across as, well, little lad could be telling the truth.
You don't want to set up a monster and treasure hunting extraordinaires company without a little bit of expertise.
Okay, fair enough. Flabbergast, in a very slow way of speaking, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Really slow. That's
A little bit slower.
Alright then. So, for the idiots that can't talk normal pace, I'm Flabbergast. I grew up a long time ago. I did. What do you want to know, baby?
What do you do? What made you decide to leave the rest of your life and join an adventuring party?
Oh, I've always been interested in what's going on in this world. Decided to go out and find out what's going on.
A little bit slower?
Oh, sorry. I always liked the rest of the world. I wanted to go out and find out all about it. I like finding things out and paperwork.
Fantastic. Do you have any special skills?
I can play a mean bagpipe.
I very much know that,
Daddy
definitely.
can.
That was
Daddy can.
incredible. Anything else we should know about you?
I can stop people dying. Inspire them to great heights.
You should have led with the whole stop people from dying thing. Like, that's pretty important.
No, it's not as important as music. Music is life.
Not wrong. As I say that, my eyes start to water a little bit, thinking about the bagpipe musical piece that you played and just how beautiful it was.
Cool.
What about you? What about you then? You seem to be swaggering around in your darkened armor and your fancy blades. What's your story?
Nothing particularly interesting, just a rogue.
Inside check. But insight if
Okay,
she's just a rogue or
roll.
if she is
Roll.
nat 1.
She is 1,000,000% telling the truth.
Just a rogue. Fair enough.
Pretty
Fair
much.
enough.
Both my parents were alive. I became a rogue just because it was something a little bit more interesting. Always like finding like little nooks and crannies when I was a kid and finding lots of different
Well,
items. But
now
nothing
you're
particularly
part of
interesting.
Rosag's Monster and Treasure Hunters Extraordinaires. The world is your oyster.
Or I'm just part of an adventuring party, not particularly Rorzak's Monster and Treasure Hunters
That's
Extraordinaires.
not what the contracts say.
I signed nothing
No, I signed them.
on my behalf.
Well, I just signed that you work for me at the bottom. Job.
Not quite how it works, but okay.
Yeah, you don't run a
let's
business. You don't know
continue.
these things. You just worry about driving the car. It's fine.
My hand kind of lingers over my dagger for a second. And I have to, you can see my hand shaking to try and visibly stop myself.
Do I see that?
No, you don't. Not on your nat one, mate. You're quite, you're just involved in a conversation. You're completely blown away by her honesty, to be fair.
This is great.
Well, earlier we get to sleep, earlier you can get up and go explore these towers.
Towers? I thought it was just the one tower.
There's 2 towers. We'll see what treasures lie in adventuring and tales for our maiden voyage.
Rosa, what do you mean be 2 times? We're only going to 1 time. We're not going to use it.
We're literally going to one tower. That's
Aye, we're
what
going to
the
the
paper says.
1
We're
tower,
going to
2
one tower,
towers.
one tower.
It's all
No,
the same.
1 tower.
No, one tower. I am with Flabbergast on this, and
That's what I said. 1
Abraxas as
towers.
well. One tower. Tower. Sing. Go to sleep.
That we can agree.
So as the night passes,
I'll
right,
climb into the back of the wagon and I'm going to...
you all begin to take your rest. Venvar, you are the first person to take watch. You have a couple of hours of your watch. Can you please give me a perception check?
$10.
So as you sit there for your 2 hours, you are on the back of the wagon, you have a pot around the campfire, you notice M3, well, you notice Flabbergast and Rozag asleep, the odd breathing and snoring and whatever. You do notice that when you look at Abraxas, it's like he's looking straight at you, but when you move, his eyes don't follow you. You just sort of pass him, and for a brief moment you're like, he is still awake, but he's not. And your couple of
I'm going to make note of this and remember it being the creepiest thing ever.
your couple of hours pass, and there is nothing you notice. So, your 2 hours pass, and you wake up Rozag.
2 hours already. Ugh.
Yep, come on, wake up. There's a cup of coffee on the side.
Sweet. I have just DM heads up. I've got 120-foot devil vision as well. I can see clear as day through.
Yep, not a problem. Give me a perception check.
Nat one.
It was not a nat 1. You'd be happy to know. Perception, yeah.
Yep.
20 none
Yep.
nat.
So, when Venvar wakes you up, it is rough when you've had your little thing. It's about 11 o'clock, so you're doing the 11 till 1 shift. It gets to midnight or just after-ish, you think. You hear the snapping of twigs on the quite a distance from where you're camped. Using your devil sight, you spin round and you can see, or from what you can see, there are two humanoid shapes making their way from tree to tree towards the camp.
Has Venvia gone back to bed at this point?
Yeah, she's an hour in. You're an hour into your watch.
I will wake her up. The other two I'll leave for the time being, so they're still resting, but I'll
Cool, you nudge Venvar.
Oh, what is it? Is it important?
You see over there. Look, over there. In those trees.
What am I looking for?
Come on, snap out of it. Focus.
When he points them out to you, you can't really see what he's on about. It's midnight, just after. You have a small campfire, and they're beyond the light that the campfire projects.
Look, I can see really well in the dark. There are something moving in the trees over there, heading this way.
Okay, DM, how far out are they?
You have no idea. They're more than 40 feet. That's all you know, is they're more than 40 feet, because that's as far as the
Do I
light.
know how far they are?
Give me an intelligence check.
Okay.
11.
You reckon they're a good 60?
I have, I can see in darkness up to 60 feet.
So they're about 60, 70 feet away?
Yeah, no, you can see, alright, so you can see up to 60 feet. He reckons they're 60 feet. At your 60 feet range, you can't see them.
Okay, no problem. What was that? What are you seeing?
Dunno. A couple of shapes in the trees. Look, I say it's good in the dark. There's definitely something out there.
Rozag, you see, you go to investigate. So as you go to investigate, Rozag, you see the humanoid shapes, a tree each, take a knee, and then one of them puts their silhouetted hand shape in the air like this, and does that. You get, so Venvar, how far do you go to investigate? I need it in feet.
10.
So as you move 10 feet, you hear the sound of an arrow zipping through the air. And a baby.
I dodge.
You what?
I dodge using uncanny.
That's not how that works. But so what you do with uncanny dodge is, in a fight, if I hit you, you can half the damage as a reaction, but it takes your reaction. So this arrow.
You want to use that when you get absolutely smashed.
So you hear this come through the air, and an arrow flies over your shoulder towards the camp. All roll initiative, please. Steve, are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Cool, I need initiative, mate.
No worries, mate. Obviously, I'm currently asleep.
Yep. Can you roll your initiative at disadvantage?
19 for me.
13.
I'm so excited.
Not a lot. Hang on.
I get to do the cool thing in a minute. The cool thing.
13.
Did you say at disadvantage, AD? Okay. So sadly, that's not 26. It's 6. Yeah.
Ouch.
Oh dear.
It's all right. Your healer going last is.
Are they mushroom people plushies?
They are. They're not
They're made by Holly.
They are
They're cool.
handmade.
Shade.
I do very much.
As this arrow comes flying over and hits Abraxas, just tings off his chest piece, but doesn't do any damage to him. You all spring to action. You're still asleep, Flabbergast, at the moment. Abraxas' eyes, the emerald colour of them, flare a little bit, acknowledging that he is aware of what is going on. And we'll put there. A fight kicks off. So the two that are a little over 60 feet, Rozak, from you. One has just fired an arrow. You react first.
Okay. I am going to, with my movements, I'm going to run 30 feet straight towards the tree line. With my action, or I'll pull my piece of door shield and hold it out in front of me as I run. And then as I hold out my other hand, my ethereal black longsword will just shimmer into being and just form in my hand.
Cool. So Abraxas and Venfar, you see as Rozak runs forward, brings his shield over in a very well-practiced, smooth motion, and then as his hand just stands out to the side, from nothingness, this blackened longsword appears in his hand.
As a bonus action, just seeing the range of this. You say they just passed 60 feet.
Yeah, they're about 65, 70 feet, and you're obviously now 30 feet closer.
Cool.
you can't.
So I'm not within 30 feet of them just yet.
No.
No, you are 35 feet of one and 40 feet of two.
Okay,
as in
I'll
number one,
use
number two.
my goblin ability to take a hide action as a bonus, and I will try and duck behind or try and slink into the shadows as I run.
Cool, give me a stealth check.
Shut the door.
18.
18, nice. So that's your go.
Sit down.
Escape. I can take hide action as a bonus.
Abraxas will run up next to you. Yep. Bonus action. He will rage. Yes. Ragey rage.
Yeah. Raging lump of stone and anger.
And during his rage, you see runes, not runes, scriptures of a language none of you know, just appear like round his shoulders and bits of armour, and then he's ready. When he kicks his rage, it's not like frothing at the mouth rage. There's a bit of the ABC warrior from Judge Dredd. And it's like, whoa. It's sort of that sort of rage.
That's cool.
Or at least it is for now, until Jamie tells me that he does a backflip every time he rages.
Also cool.
So, Abraxas is now where you were, or at least in that vicinity, but then you've obviously ducked behind the trees. From your left, an arrow comes whizzing in from a direction you didn't see anybody. And this arrow is aimed at Abraxas. And it misses Abraxas. And over it just goes whizzing over, does this arrow. And it just crosses, whizzes past you, Rozag, and just in front of Abraxas into the night. After the bandito, it is Venvar, or Venavar. As you act, another arrow gets shot in.
Can't hear you, AD.
As you act, Venavar, another arrow from the right this time comes flying into the camp and misses Flabbergast on the floor. It just sticks in the dirt next to him. Your go.
Oh damn. Okay. I pull out my bow. Can I see anyone?
You could see the two people that were attacking from the front. I know you're 60 feet, aren't you? If you don't move, you can't see anybody.
Okay. From where those first initial arrows came, of where I was kind of going towards anyway.
Oh, you moved 10 feet. My bad. Sorry, you moved 10 feet. Yes, you can see two archers. They are
Sweet.
humanoid shaped. They are in clearly like robes pulled over to try and hide in the night.
I am going to fire an arrow at either one of them. I really don't mind.
I need to know so I can mark hit points.
To the one on the left.
Cool. You are muted.
That is an 11.
An 11. You see it hit the tree bark just next to where he's hiding with half cover.
Yeah.
So that is one arrow fired. That is your action. What are you doing for your? Remember, you've got your entire movement in this turn because you've gone into turn.
I am going
your bonus
to
action.
find somewhere to be able to hide and take cover.
So it's night time. You're in the woods. Are you using your bonus action to hide? You can't do that yet, can you? Oh yeah, you can. You can. You're level 3.
Yeah, I can.
So cool. Give me a stealth roll.
$20.
Noted. That is your turn.
Thank you.
So, the one that you just shot at, he will then shoot, seeing as Rozag and Venavar have disappeared. He will shoot at Abraxas. And miss. I've rolled a 5 3 times in a row. And another arrow just goes, just hits. It hits the chest piece straight on of Abraxas and just shatters the shaft of the arrow and just crumples onto the floor.
We'll fight in the shade.
Yeah. And then that particular archer will hide. That's his turn. 11. Alright, so Flabbergast. And the other one will fire at Abraxas again. And miss. Oh my god. Your go, Flabbergast.
Have I heard anything that would wake me?
You have not yet. There's just the
Carry on being asleep.
quiet zipping of arrows in the air. In fact, give me a perception check at disadvantage to see if you heard the one off Abraxas' chest.
I rolled a 1 on my first dice roll, so I'm asleep.
You did not hear the arrow ping off his chest. Top of the round, we have Rozag.
I will dash back out from my shadowy hiding place and I will take another full 30 feet. Probably leaving me just out of melee range, or probably about 10 feet short of the two.
Correct. Is that where you want to be?
You're muted, matey, AD.
You are correct. Is that where you want to be?
It is. I will then, for my action, I'm going to cast...
You're going to cast what, sorry?
I will cast darkness in the place if... how far apart are the two archers?
About 10 feet.
In the middle of me and the two archers, I'll drop darkness, which will cover us all with a 15-foot aura of magical blackness.
Is it 15-foot radius, so it's a 30-foot
Yep.
around, yeah?
15-foot radius, so it's 30-foot cross to cross.
Yeah, and you can see through it because of Devil's Sight, yeah?
Bingo.
Well, that's going to sting. So, as you do that, nicely done, darkness.
If I'm reading it right, normally anything shooting in or out of it has disadvantage.
They do. and if you're fighting
Can
in it, you're
I-
at disadvantage, except for you, obviously.
Can I use my bonus action to use goblins, whatever it's called, to hide within that dark? Because they can't see in the dark, and I can.
It's not. You wouldn't really hide. You wouldn't actively hide. You'd be hidden, if you know what I mean. It'd be an automatic hidden, so they'd still be at disadvantage.
Cool.
You can't make it.
Okay, I mean, I'm more trying to hide completely so they wouldn't even know where I am within that.
Yeah, go on then. Give me a stealth check. So you're moving silently rather than hiding behind something.
13.
Cool, 13. So that's so. Velavar, you see this. I mean, you can see now with the 60 feet. You now see very obviously.
You are muted again, my friend.
You now see very obviously as you're looking out into the darkness. You see very obviously a sphere of black, like it is jet black, supernatural darkness in the night. It just stands out like a sore thumb to you, and it engulfs where the two archers were that were shooting at you. There's no sign of Rozag and no sign of these two now. It is now Abraxas go, who runs into the darkness, pulling out his greatsword. Just runs into the darkness and starts swinging. He disadvantage.
Panics in goblin.
On a disadvantage, he got a 15 and hits. So the greatsword comes down.
But the question is, who did he hit?
So the greatsword comes down, and you see a goblin head fly out the darkness. The greatsword comes down. Rozag, you hear the whoosh of the blade swinging, and then as it hits something, and a groan of somebody being hit with a large metal implement.
Excellent. This is what we hire him for.
That is Abraxas's go. It is now down to, seeing as you've disappeared, Abraxas has disappeared, and I think he's hidden. The other bandit that fired from the left will run in, run 30 feet, and now have a better shot at the sleeping Flabbergast, but he's still prone, so it's at disadvantage. And at disadvantage, he got 11. I'm assuming your AC is higher than that.
It is indeed.
Cool, so another arrow thuds just by your head. Give me a perception check.
That was definitely louder. Two.
Yep, so there's a bit of a thud noise, but not enough that you care. So you just sort of, you hear the thud and you then roll over onto your side and sort of snuggle into the earth. Velavar, it is your goal, as it is the other bandits who can't see anybody, but will have another shot from the right at the sleeping Flabbergast and get a natural 1, so will miss. Completely goes whizzing over your head. Give me a perception check, Flabbergast.
I like how he's just sleeping, his arrows are whizzing through his head.
I mean, it's getting louder. I got a 4.
You remain asleep. Your go, Velavar. You can see this very obvious globe of darkness in front of you. You saw Abraxas run into it. You can't see Rozag, and you can't see any bandit. In fact, you can see one that moved and is now about 30 feet from Flabbergast to your left of the camp.
I would like to cast Chill Touch at the bandit going towards Flabbergast.
And what does Chill Touch do, please?
Chill Touch, you create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. A ranged spell attack against a creature will assail it with a chill of the grave. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage and can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Until then, the hand clings to the target.
Cool. Can you do your ranged attack? Can you do your ranged attack then, please?
No problem. That's a 16 to hit.
Your 16 hits.
Sweet, thank you.
Ghostly's 30-yard slap.
Stop now.
That is 5 points of necrotic damage. Unless it's an undead target, as to which then it will also take disadvantage on its next attack rolls until the end of my turn. Until the next turn that I have. But yes, 5 points of necrotic.
Cool. So you reach out, a ghostly, inky white and green hand that appears and just clutches, and its fingers sink about an inch into his chest, and the hand just sits there, and you can see the like black and green energy just pulse from the hand for a moment as the necrotic damage takes hold. Are you doing anything else? You are no longer hidden as you have just cast a spell.
That is fine. I would like to shout at Flabbergast and tell him to wake up.
Flabbergast, you wake up.
Oh, I rolled really well then as well. I actually
If
got like
some-
double figures.
If somebody is shouting you from 30 feet away, you hear it.
You have not tried to wake me up.
Normally just turn on the lights and throw things at you.
It's fair.
So, Venavar, have you got anything else? Anything else left to do? Are you hiding?
Yes, please.
Stealth roll, please.
It's a 9.
9 it is.
D9.
Oh my god, kill that guy. So,
Gotta hit me first.
that's Venavar's go. And number 1. So, you hear the clanging of steel on steel as in his blindness the bandit will try and attack Abraxas and not succeed. So you hear the ching of metal on metal somewhere in the darkness. Yep. Bum, bum, bum. Then
Awesome.
it is Flabbergast. It's Flabbergast. It's Flabbergast go. You are awake, Flabbergast.
Hey, so I am going. What can I see? Are they still all stuff? That is 14.
Cool. So on your left, from 30 feet from you, you can see a humanoid shape. You can just see the workings of a beard on the jaw as the hood comes over, with this weird pale green and white ethereal hand with its fingers sunk into his chest. Off to your left, you can see Venavar holding herself against a tree in an attempt to hide herself from praying eyes. And you're a gnome, aren't you? You can see in the dark, can't you?
I can, yeah.
So, and you can see a very obvious black sphere, like jet black sphere, in the nighttime din, about 60, 70 feet ahead of you.
Right, okay. So I start. I think it's a case of going big or going home, isn't it? So I will cast Thunderwave.
Kaboom!
Boom! So you cast Thunderwave from where you're stood? Oh, well, you're laid.
From where I'm.
It will cost you 10 feet to stand, so you'll have 15 feet left to move.
And how far away is the nearest one, sorry?
The nearest one to you is 30 feet to your left.
So 10, 15 foot move. Yeah, so I'm going to stand and move toward that way, basically.
So you're going to stand. You're going to walk 15 feet towards him.
Yep.
Cool.
So then he's within my 15-foot cube. At which point I'm going to Thunder Wave.
Cool. Is it automatic or is it a save from him?
No, he needs to make a Constitution saving throw. DC 14.
He failed.
Okay, I've cast it at level 2. 17 points of thunder damage, and he is pushed 10 foot away.
So as and it's a 300-foot noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
It's
there is a cacophonous boom of thunder. Just radiates its source, being Flabbergast the gnome, and it just goes through all the ground, leaves, everything shakes, your hair wobbles. You feel this like rush of thunderous noise and air, well, for a very, very long way. And what Venavar and Flabbergast see is a humanoid looking chap with a beard and a green hand stuck in his chest be catapulted lifelessly through the air and just hit 2 or 3 of the trees and just hit them like a rag doll, and you hear the crunch and the break as the lifeless bandit hits the deck, completely ruined.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
And then as a bonus action,
Yep.
because Fanavar is clearly not very good at, as I can see her, I'm going to start singing a song to her about how amazing she is and how she should totally like go forth and destroy these entities that are attacking us, and basically give us a. So Hannah, you get 1d6 that for the next 10 minutes you can add it to any ability check, attack roll or saving throw.
Sick.
You can add it after the roll, but not before you know whether it worked or not.
Okay.
And it lasts for 10 minutes. If you haven't used it in 10 minutes, it's gone.
In combat, that's about a month.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, basically.
So,
D&D, an hour takes 5 minutes, and 5 minutes takes an hour.
now Flabbergast has gone. It is over to... Dun, 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 dun. Rozag, you are currently in the darkness and hindered not at all. There is a dead humanoid shape at Abraxas' feet, and there is another humanoid shape hitting him with a scimitar.
Bonus action, Hexblade's Curse. So a load of black wreathed energy comes out the end of the longsword and wraps itself kind of around his form. Doesn't do anything to him as such, but it envelops him. And then I'm going to run up to him and smack him in the face with this.
Swing away.
Advantage for darkness.
Yes, because they're blind.
One moment, I've just thrown my dice across the room.
Wow.
Professional.
And he's
Try
back.
that again. 6 and a 4. That'll be a 6 plus bonuses is an 11.
So as your black bladed sword swings, he just reacts. Can't see you, but just reacts and swings his scimitar out, and you it's a very weak parry, but just enough to stop you landing your blow.
You use my bonus action to slip back into the shadows.
So you use your bonus action to try and remain.
Disengage.
Are you disengaging?
Yep, split back into the shadows.
Cool, that's done. We have a Lucy on form. Blah blah. All right, Lucy. You
Good thing she's
gobby little get you. So 19. It is now down to Venavar and a bandit. The bandit shoots now at Flabbergast, who is no longer prone, and gets an 18. And does 2 points of piercing damage to you, Flabbergast. You are muted if you're trying to do stuff.
Sorry, 1 moment. I am just going to have a quick look at words. Let's put that wrong. It's wrong. Okay, it's all right. Yeah, I'll take it.
Cool, so an arrow just catches your ear as it goes whizzing past you and bleeds it a little bit for 2 points. Venavar, your turn.
Lucy!
I'm going to fire an arrow back at them. $18 to hit.
Boo!
Cool, are you shooting the one that shot at Flabbergast?
Yes, I got you, bro.
Cool, 18 does indeed hit.
Yay! That is 4 points of piercing damage, please.
Cool, 4 points of piercing damage happens as the arrow goes whizzing across the tree lines into the attacker that has now revealed themselves as they shot at Flabbergast. Yes. Are you doing anything with your movement or bonus action?
I'm gonna find some more cover.
So give me a stealth roll. Lucy is in full rage mode at the minute, just screaming at everything.
It's 25 on stealth.
25. Cool. You disappear into the shadows. Or so you believe. Dun, 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 dun. Dead. The attacker, the humanoid shape that was attacking Abraxas and then Rozag you attacked, swings again at Abraxas just because it can't see anything and has no idea that there's multiple attackers coming in. Oh my god. That's a double 2. The sword gets a bit of a bend in it as it hits Abraxas clean. Not enough to slash, but just the attacker seems to step forward a bit too far and then just hits it like hitting a metal bar against a lamppost. It is now ding, ding, ding. Flabbergast go. You can see your attacker to your right this time, and they are 55 feet from you.
55, you say?
Indeed.
But it's close enough for that. I'm going to look at him. What do you know what kind of race he is?
You have no idea of race or gender, just a humanoid shape with a hood.
I'm assuming I've noticed that there's some... Miss me.
You've noticed some what, sorry?
Arrows in the cart where they failed to hit me.
They're not in the cart, they are in the ground.
Okay. Can you make me a
Wisdom save, yeah?
Yeah.
That is a 10.
Okay, that's a fail. I'm going to use Vicious Mock. Ha! You're so rubbish, you can't even shoot.
Wow.
2 psychic damage. And have disadvantage on the next attack roll.
As your words reach out, there's a power on the air as you less so for others, almost see your words impact like you've thrown something physical at them, and you can just feel their welling up, even though you can't see it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Would you like to use the cart as cover?
Yeah, I'm going to get behind the car.
Cool, so while you have the cart between you and the bandit, you have 3/4 cover, so your AC is increased by 5. Rozak.
Yes.
There is
I'm
a
gonna-
failed attempt at killing Abraxas happening in front of you.
I'm going to go and smack him in the face with a sword. I'll use Booming Blade.
Ooh, what does Booming Blade do, please?
It takes I use it as part of an attack action. If the attack action is successful, it also adds a debuff to the target. If that target then makes a willing movement at any point, it explodes. So advantage for darkness, yeah. Sweet. That is a 7, or it's a 6. So on the 7, that is a
12.
Yeah.
You just hit.
Sweet of X.
So your black sword comes swinging down.
Okay, let's work out what the hell this does now. So I've got a few things stacked on top. So it's a long sword. I'm using it one-handed, so that's 1d8 of slashing damage plus my charisma modifier plus 1 because it's a +1 longsword. 2 plus 3. So that's 5 points of slashing damage. Plus 2 bonus damage for the hex. And then it is got the booming blade effect. So 7 points of damage total. And if it moves, it will pop. And I'll use no goblin racial to disengage and drop 10 feet away with them.
Job done. It's now Abraxas' go with his great sword and disadvantage. Jesus Christ. 5 and a 4. Abraxas just swinging wildly in the dark. You can see this as you put it there. It is now did you Vicious Mockery Bandit? Is that disadvantage, did you say, Flabbergast?
That is correct, yes.
He manages to, or they manage to steel themselves against the vicious mocking and launch an arrow in your direction. Not a chance it's hit you with a 4. And now there's an arrow stuck firmly in the wagon. And then we'll hide pretty well. Nice. Venavar, it is your go. You see no bandits.
Can I move to be able to go and find some bandits?
You can either run into the globe of darkness, or I'll let you use your bonus action to attempt a perception check to see where that one just hid.
Perception check, please.
Cool. This will cost you your bonus action, so roll.
I'm also going to spend my inspiration on it as well, please.
Okay, just give me the total score. Wow. You do not see the hit. You saw where they were, but then they ran past a couple of trees and then just didn't appear. And you have a quick look around to see if you reckon you can spot which tree they were hid behind, but you've got no idea.
Okay. What to do? I take out my bow and arrow and I hold my action until I see 1 or 2 of the hooded figures come out of the darkness.
Cool. Good trigger. I'll hold that for you.
Thank you.
Flabbergast. You do not see anyone. You can see Venavar now because she's unable to hide. But you will need, if you want to use your bonus action to try and spot the bandit that hid from you, you can, but you'd have to leave the cover of the wagon. Can't hear you, mate.
Is Venavar injured at all that I can see?
You have no idea. She doesn't look injured or wobbling, but she also, if she is, hiding it well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try and find this guy, use my bonus action to try and see if I can see it.
Cool, so you lose your +5 AC from the cover. Use your bonus action to try and spot the archer.
Yeah. 14.
You scoot around, like you quickly look to where the arrow came from, but you were too distracted by hiding behind the cart. You can't quite pinpoint where they've hidden. You still have your action.
Okay. As my action, I'm going to move back behind cover.
Cool. You are now have your.
Can't see anything. Just going to hide again.
Well, you can use the rest of your movement to go back round the cover, so you'd still have an action. So you could still hold your action to do something.
I'll do that, and I will ready my action for if somebody gets in. If I see someone get injured within 60 foot of me.
What is the action?
Healing word.
Are you a warcaster? No, that's fine. You're fine. Don't listen to me.
In fact, no. The action I'm going to do is cutting words.
It's cutting words.
Yeah.
Cool. And you're going to use it on if you see someone, yeah?
Yeah. If I see one of my lot basically about to be hit, I will mock the person shooting at him to go, ha ha.
So the trigger is if they're about to hit one of your friends.
Yes.
Cool. Flabbergast go back round to Rozag.
Oh, where's my man?
I forgot push to talk. That's a 20 to hit non-natural.
That hits.
And that's 6, 7, 8 points of slashing damage.
Just so you know, your sword cleaves through the bandits, whatever padded leathery armour they had. You just hear this higher pitched yelp of pain as your sword sinks into flesh, and you just cut through as if a knife through butter. And then the thud.
It dies. Part of my Hexblade's curse, the shadow basically pulls some of his life essence on as it absorbs back through the blade.
Say that last bit again. Absorbs back through the blade.
I heal 5 hit points through killing.
You do that.
Damn, that's nice.
And I'll dispel darkness.
Can you dispel it? Is it just a free action?
That's a good question.
You check that out and we'll move on. So after Rozag, it is Abraxas with disadvantage.
It's concentration. I'll just.
So you just drop concentration. That's cool.
Yarp.
With disadvantage, he manages to hit. Oh, he's hitting nothing. What am I swinging at? You just killed it. I'm all over this. But Abraxas doesn't know it's dead, so he'll just swing his sword in the direction, hear the thud of the person dropping, and then ready himself, and he will then... So that'll be his action. He'll then move out back to where he came. So you'll now see Benavar and Flabbergast, you will now see Abraxas walk out of that darkness.
There isn't.
Hang on. As he walks out of it, the darkness disappears. Yep.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
You're on the same initiative, Rob. So it's all happening.
Okay.
It's all happening
Okay,
at the same time. Venavar, you've just seen. You can now see Rozag. You can now see Abraxas. You can see two body-esque silhouettes at the feet, or not far from the feet of Rozag. You are. You cannot see the. Oh no, actually. You can see the other bandit as it steps out and fires at you with a 20 and does 2 points of piercing damage to you. Now, your action goes off, Hannah. So your reaction, happens. So you shoot. Flabbergast, your reaction happens. So you do your vicious, your whatever you were doing, and Hannah, you do your shot.
So, that to hit roll becomes a 15.
15 hits.
No. So their roll that they used to hit.
Ah, because you've cut in words, yeah.
Yeah.
Does 15 hit you, Hannah? Say again.
Yes, it does.
Cool. So you hear Flabbergast shout words of distraction to the archer, and the arrow sort of comes up, whereas originally it were going for your like your stomach area. It now catches you high in the shoulder, and you still take 2 points of piercing. But you get to fire your arrow because you saw them fire. So what did you get?
Does a 25 hit?
A 25 just hits, yes. The bandit in the woods.
That is 8 points of piercing damage, please.
8 points of piercing damage. So as you let your arrow loose, the one hits you in the shoulder, and then you let go of the arrow as the one in the shoulder hits you, and you see it fly, and for a brief second you're like, oh well, I've missed. And then it catches them across the throat, like a slash, goes over, and you just see claret pumping out. And then the bandit hits the deck. You are all now out of initiative.
I will wander back towards the group, and as I do, the blade will just vanish into the ether in a little crackle of black. And I'll go around looting.
Give me an investigation check. So on your 18, you manage to. Are you searching just all the bandits, yeah?
Yeah, I'll make my way around them all.
Cool. So the one that you just finished off is a young woman. Must be early 20s. She's already got a few scars, like just on her face. Her face is weathered. Definitely someone that lives out in the woodlands. Next to her is a young lad, roughly the same age. Again, look older than they are, but you can still get that they're early 20s because of their life in the woodland. On them two, you find 7 silver pieces. They both have short bows, a handful of arrows, maybe 6 each, and they both got scimitars. The armour they're wearing is real basic hide armour, just bits of leather and whatever animal pelt they've got together. On bandit number 4 that was off to the left, you find a gold piece, yep, and a orange gem, like a little bit of amber in a gemstone-esque shape. It's about the size of a small marble.
I will make an effort to collect all of the scimitars, short bows, and arrows and put them all in a pile in the corner at the back of the wagon.
Cool, that's easy enough. And on bandit number 4, excuse me, bandit number 4, you find a single copper piece that's been chewed, like lots of teeth marks in it. And
How many? Have they all got short bows and scimitars?
they all have short bows and scimitars. There is maybe 12. There's 24 working arrows, 4 short bows, 4 scimitars. Only 3 of the scimitars actually are working swords. The other one was damaged hitting Abraxas.
No worries, I'll load all the blades and bows into the back of the wagon in kind of a loot pile to hopefully sell on the way back. And yeah, I'll put the rest in a coin purse.
So yeah, that's fine. No, I was deliberately muted. I was shouting at the 9-month-old. So you've loaded up. You've got your coinage and stuff. Are you? What's the plan? To just go back to sleep?
If all right.
I think there's little point actually going back to sleep because we're not going to get like 8 hours.
Occupational hazard, guys. Dealt with it well.
Well, let's
You will.
chill out for an hour.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say if we we rest for an hour, like, then
You muted yourself mid-conversation.
if we want to have a little sleep, we can do a little song and make.
You keep it like you lag out halfway through your sentence.
If we have a short rest, I'll just talk normally.
It wasn't the accent that time. It's generally the
Oh, is it
connection.
not? Okay. If we have a short rest, basically, I can sing a little song that will give you, or if you spend a hit dice, will give you an extra healing.
I'm fine, but I can recover some. I can recover some of my abilities if we rest up for an hour.
Sweet. Short rest?
What time is it at the moment?
It's about 1:45 in the morning.
I reckon we sleep through your train.
Actually, let's try. Yeah. Well, let's have a. What do one's reported to? Let's have a short rest, and then if nothing's disturbed the short rest, I'm going to go back to sleep.
Likewise.
Long rest.
We'll put Abraxas on guard.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So throughout your short rest, you may use your hit dice if you so wish or not. There is a Samson in the thing. Say hello, Samson.
Hi.
There you go, mate. You manage a long rest, and so all take your long rests. The morning comes, you have to take you sleep in a little bit longer because of your 2 seconds, mate. Because of your staying up in the night and somebody attacking you, how dare they, and your short rest. So you've all took a long rest. It is now the morning time, and you are roughly just short of a day. So you reckon from when you left Krool coming into here, told it was about a day and a half away, you reckon by tonight, so this evening, you will approach or get near the tower that you are aiming for. You cannot see yet any tips of towers through the tree line where you are, but you can have a little group session, guess that you probably need to start veering more west now, so you don't go too far north and miss it. Yep.
Westward.
So before we set off westward, we've only got about 10 minutes left anyway before I'd be calling it. So if I call it there, it's a nice, you've had a long rest, you're sorted, you're fresh to go ahead, and we will call that session 1 completed.
Ooh, and no one died.
No one died yet. I'm surprised I only lost like 2 hit points.
Thanks, AD. I'm glad no one killed me for my amazing accent.
Yet. So
Connection makes it like when the connection's clean, we can hear you fine, or I can hear you fine at least. The when the connection's crackly or breaks off on and off, it's a nightmare. So hopefully the connection.
Yeah, it was
we can,
horrible, not gonna lie.
we
But
can
also
sort
it'd be
stuff.
racist for me to kill you because half my family is Irish, so...
That's not racist. I'm just copying Brad Pitt.
Brilliant. So
that's the end of the session.
thanks for very much for tuning in. If you want to see us again, we'll probably be doing this most Wednesdays around this time. I'll stick this on my YouTube channel. It's very new, so if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't.
Thanks for everyone that watched.
Yeah, we had quite a few people in at the beginning, tapered off throughout, but that's because they should be working. But yeah, thank you very much. So thank you for listening to my children in the background. Thank you very much for the players tipping up. Say bye-bye, Sam.
Bye.
Good lad. And we
See you
will...
next time. Bye, everyone.
Lord Barrington, Esquire, thank you very much for sticking with it. My unemployed ass stuck with it. Jamie had to go. Hopefully Jamie will be back with us, we'll find out. So stay tuned, thank you very much, and take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.